Hi guys, it's me Jess here and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I make my strip patchwork dress from the leftover fabric. These two leftover fabric are actually from my previous project. When I look at them, I realize that they match so well together and it's pushed me hard to find design for them. And I found this dress is have the strip design for the whole dress. So I make each strip as one choice of fabric and combine them together. That's why it's gonna take a bit of time for this project as you have to connect so many small pieces together. But the result is really worth it. So I really hope you guys will like it and try it out. And let's get started. I start making the pattern for the top part of the dress first. To make the front bodice pattern, I draw a rectangle with 28 cm length, which is the length from above my breast to 3 cm above my belly button, and 40 cm width, which is the half of my bust side. On the top width line, I mark in the middle first. From this mark, I mark at 11 cm at two sides of it. So the width between two new marks will be 22 cm, which is the width between two inside shoulders, where will be the position of the shoulder strap. From the top of the length line, I mark down 6 cm, which is the length of the arm bit of the dress that I want. Then connect it to the marks on the top width line at the same side to create the underarm bit line of the front bodice. From the bottom width line, I make another line 4 cm above it. 4 cm is the width of the waistband at the waist of the dress that I want. So you will see two parts of the front bodice and the waistband. Adding 1 cm for seam allowance for each part after cutting. To make the back bodice pattern, I draw a rectangle with the same length as the front bodice pattern and 60 cm width, which is 1.5 times a half of my bust size. From one end of the top width line, I mark inside 11 cm, which is the position of the shoulder strap at the back, plus 1 cm for seam allowance. So you can see three parts of the back bodice, and here are the pattern of the back bodice after cutting. I used two choices of leftover fabric from my previous projects for this DIY. To create a nice matching for them, I cut them into small pieces and connect them together, so they will look like strip fabric in the end. The width and the length of each fabric will depend on the pattern of the dress, so you can create any matching you want. Top dress, I cut a long fabric line with 6 cm length, which is the length of the waistband that I want, plus 2 cm for seam allowance. At one length line, I finish the end fabric by folding it inside 2 times with a half centimeter each time and sew it together. To make the shoulder strap, I cut 2 long fabric with 6 cm width, which is the width of the shoulder strap that I want, plus 2 cm for seam allowance, and 70 cm length, which is the length of the shoulder strap. I connect 2 long fabric together at 2 length line and 1 width line. After upside it, use the iron to make your seam nicer. You will need 4 shoulder straps like this. Now I'm adding one end of the shoulder strap to one end of the top line at the front bodice. Then adding one end of the shoulder strap to the end of the back bodice. Make sure you keep 1 cm at the back bodice for seam allowance later. And the shoulder strap have to be in the middle between the main part and the lining part of the top dress. After turning the seam inside out, I draw a lot of horizontal lines 1 cm away from each other, and sewing by the drawing lines. They will create a fabric hole there. Connecting the middle part of the back bodice to the side of it. Make sure the middle parts will be in the middle between the main part and the lining part. How it looks after sewing and turning on the seam inside. Then I connect 2 pieces of the top band at the ending lines together. After that, I make a loose seam at the end of the front bodice first. Then I create the garring fabric there later. Make sure the garring fabric will be around 2 breast area, and the final width at the end of the front bodice should be 32 cm, which is a half of my waist size. I cut a long fabric line with 6 cm width, which is the width of the waistband that I want, plus 2 cm for seam allowance, and 108 cm length, which is the length at the end of the top part from the front to the back, plus 2 cm for seam allowance. I connect 2 length lines of the fabric together to create the circle fabric first. Then I connect one side of the circle fabric to the end of the top part of the dress. of the dress, I make a matching rectangle with 140 cm width, which is 1.5 times my hip size, plus 2 cm for seam allowance, and 70 cm length, which is the length from 3 cm above my belly button to my knee. It's also the length of the dress that I want. At the top of the bottom dress, I make a loose seam first, then I create a gathering fabric there later. And I finished this DIY. Here's my final result. It's such a cute but pretty and quiet vintage dress. The matching between two types of fabric made it so special. I hope you like it and try it out. See you next week.